1. So today something happened that I'm struggling with. Disclaimer. I am a student of forensic psychology and I do not believe in heaven, hell, or anything spiritual. I recently moved into a new office at work with another guy so that we could make room for new people coming in. After a week or so, we started to really get on, and one day he noticed my smartwatch and took a real liking to it. He said he was going to ask his wife to get him one for Father's Day from his boys, which, true to his request, she did. Now this is where things get weird, and for the life of me I cannot explain it. I asked him later in the afternoon if I could inspect the watch, as I was eager to compare the two, as she hadn't bought him one like mine, Fitbit Blaze. Whilst looking through it, I noticed it had a cool camera feature, so I clicked on it, but it just beeped. He asked me what I was doing, so I explained I wanted to take a selfie. He said that's not how the camera works, and it actually acts like a video output for his smartphone. I feel I should add here there is no camera on the watch, I just presumed it was hidden behind its sleek black casing. He said watch this, and went into next door's office and turned on his phone, and the watch started to broadcast what the phone was seeing, which was cool. I watched as he aimed it outside, at other computers, and then he turned the phone in my direction, through the window so I could see myself on the screen. I raised my right arm, but nothing happened. Strange, I thought. I raised my left arm and waved it around, but I continued to sit absolutely still at my desk. Then I noticed it. I narrowed my eyes because on the screen it looked exactly like I was looking in the direction of the phone. I was sitting sideways on, not facing the phone, but on the watchy screen I had my head turned towards the phone, which meant that I could see my face on the watchy screen. Not only this, but it looked like I was smirking, like I was looking at me, and I knew it. This made me feel really weird, and right at the point I realized something looked odd. My office friend came back in and snatched the watch out of my hand and walked back to his desk. I asked why my arms didn't move on the screen, and he just replied, with the excuse of it being slow. Now I know this not to be true. I watched him in real time walk around the other office, and I saw it with my own eyes, as it has huge windows, so I could see him moving around. What still is, I couldn't work out why I never raised my arms, because at the point I realized I was looking at the camera, there would have been enough of a gap in time for the watch screen to catch up. I had even inspected it for make and model, but there is nothing on the watch to say. I ran through every possibility, as I've learned to do through psychology, and I thought perhaps it had frozen. Maybe, but why could I see a smiling version of me looking in a direction I hadn't? This played on my mind for a bit, but I chalked it up to a malfunction in the watch's software. I had to. I joked to myself about looking into an alternative reality, or perhaps a glitch in the Matrix. But seriously, what was I watching? 2. I should preface this with some facts about myself. I don't get out much. I'm in NEET during the summer because I have chronic crippling depression, and I only go outside to go to class during the fall and winter and spring. I live with my parents during the summer, and they support my NEETdom, and nobody has access to our house besides my parents and myself. I've been in a deep rut as far as my mental health goes as of late, so I haven't been out for about 3 weeks. About 5 or 6 days ago, I went to get my debit card out of my wallet to buy another controller for my Xbox. Mine had broken again. Those damn shoulder buttons are so fragile. And my wallet wasn't where I usually kept it. I kept it in an old cigar box my dad had given me, along with stuff like my diploma and other important items. But when I went to go and open the box, it wasn't there. I thought this was rather strange, since the only person who would know where this cigar box is was me. My parents barely go in my room besides to check and see if I'm still alive, and to remind me that I have therapy that day. I began to look around my room for it in places like my chair cushions and under my bed, but nothing turned up besides dust bunnies and candy wrappers and the like. I moved to checking my closet, my dresser, my desk, my nightstand, and even my old book bag from last semester, and sure enough, nothing came up. I began to get a bit nervous, seeing as my driver's license was in there as well as my banking information. I closed my laptop and began searching through the rest of the house for the rogue wallet. I searched laundry baskets, our dryer, our washer, the nooks and crannies of the basement, in between every couch cushion and under every household appliance we called our own. Nothing. At this point I was starting to get accusatory of my mother or my father, but they would have no reason to take my wallet, and even if they did, they wouldn't have known where my cigar box was hidden. Even still, if they attempted to find it, and if they would have rifled through my things, I would have known. I kept it in a small false space created by how my dresser drawers lay, and I usually am in my room playing vidya. It's strange to explain, but with the way my dresser drawers sit, there's a space where you can hide things between them. Helped me greatly in my youth to hide potentially salacious material from my parents. Nevertheless, after I diffused my frustrations, I figured the wallet would probably show up somewhere. My mom arrived home from running errands, and I asked if she'd seen the wallet anywhere. "I have no idea where your wallet is, Anon," my mom tells me, "but I'll look around for you if you'd like." I went back to playing some vidya and waited for my dad to come home from work. My dad came home exhausted, so I let him rest a while before pestering him. After a long enough respite, I asked him if he had seen my wallet anywhere. He said he hadn't. At this point I was puzzled. I admitted defeat and grumbled to myself about the inconvenience of having to go and get another copy of my driver's license and bank card and the like. A few days went by, my focus shifted from my wallet to more immediate matters like E3, and I have all but forgotten that I had lost my wallet and my driver's license, not that it meant much to me. I barely went outside at all, especially not when I had announcement trailers to watch. Suddenly my mom came home, about 4 or 5 hours earlier than she usually did, and she had my wallet in her hand as she opened the door. It immediately jogged my memory of what occurred, and I was shocked. I quickly got the question, "Well, where was it?" out of my mouth, and took it into my hands. I began to mull it over, and it looked as though tire tracks had been tattooed onto its surface by the sheer amount of times it had been ran over. It was muddy, battered, and bleached by the hot summer sun beating down upon it. My mom told me she found it 12 blocks away in the middle of the road. The thing must have been sitting out there for days, judging by its condition. I opened it to check and see if anything had been taken out. Everything was there. My driver's license, loose bills and coins, my debit card, my banking information, even my spare old Chicago Rewards card was still in there. Everything. If a thief stole this, then they forgot to take quite literally everything out of my wallet, which is, I assume, rather counterintuitive to the point of stealing a wallet. I began to notice something else. Not only was everything there, but nothing had been touched or jostled. Everything was exactly in the spot it was before this whole sordid affair, down to my $20 bill being folded in the exact way it was when I had put it in my wallet. Again, if a thief took this thing, not only did they not even take the loose money, they didn't even open the wallet at all. This wallet wasn't a particularly well-made wallet either, so it's not like the thing was made out of some special strong leather. The thing was like $4 at Kmart. It was clear that the wallet itself had taken some not insignificant damage, but the contents inside weren't even wet, dirty, or at all weathered by the intense conditions that damaged the wallet's exterior. A bit warm from the pavement, but no damage or any sign that any interaction took place with the inner contents was present whatsoever. You'd think that at least the plastic cards inside would have gotten scratched or dented at the very least. Or maybe the paper items inside would have gotten some sort of residue on it, but no. None of it showed any sign of being tampered with besides the exterior of the wallet. This freaked me out a bit. I asked my mom if she had taken my wallet. She said no, and that she was just as surprised to see it was mine when she stopped and picked it up. I called my dad while he was working, much to his initial chagrin, and told him all that had happened, and he said he hadn't seen it when he was driving home the last few nights. I asked if he took the wallet, and he said that he, again, didn't take anything that was mine. He seemed put off by the whole thing. He ended the call by saying in a mildly perturbed tone that this coming weekend he's probably going to end up changing the front and back door locks, just in case. I did have the thought to look through the rest of the cigar box, only to find all other important items in there exactly where they were, pre-wallet fiasco. I'm not talking some weird hodgepodge of items either. My social security documents, my high school diploma, my small stash of money I saved for emergencies, and my own precious sentimental items like a Joe Montana card signed by the man himself. and my old Pokemon Emerald card, with an internal battery long since dead, weren't messed with at all. They were in the same place right down to the order of the documents themselves being the same. The only explanation that I can make up that isn't Bizarro Land Funhouse levels of crazy is that my dog somehow climbed 3.5 feet up, pulled my dresser open, had both the mental acuity and physical dexterity to open the cigar box, take my wallet, drop it 2 blocks away from the house, and come back without my noticing. That and my parents are just ninja-level trolls who are playing some weird trick on me for no reason other than to mess with me. However, both seem genuine about their own mystification at the whole event. As such, I'm inclined to believe that they had no real motive or enough information to do this. Hence, strange times call for even stranger explanations. My Bizarro Land Funhouse explanation is that the thing just disappeared and reappeared 2 blocks over. Or that it might have warped or something. I'm not a paranormal guy, so anything like that, and I usually don't put much stock into glitch reports. But I really didn't know what else could have happened. This whole situation really shook me up. I'm gonna keep a better eye on my things, I suppose. Although exactly how I'm supposed to keep things from teleporting away is beyond me. 3. So let me explain. Last year I had this very nice pair of jeans. They were my favorite and I wore them quite often. One day I ripped them. And I remember it happened because it was embarrassing, as I was with my boyfriend and his friends, and they ripped just down my butt. I was devastated. I loved these jeans, plus this was like the 3rd pair of jeans I ripped in the same area in a period of about 2 months. So this year I was on the search for a new pair of jeans in this washed black color. I found a pair and I made sure the denim was thicker so I wouldn't rip it again, at least in a very long time. So anyway, today I was getting ready and I wanted to wear these jeans. I walked into my closet and I took them. I also need to mention that they were just folded on top of some clothes that were hanging properly, in the same small pile of clothes that I needed to organize, clothes I had worn. So I put them on, and I realized they kind of look and fit different. But I didn't pay much attention to it, besides just thinking I needed to stop eating junk food, because just last week the pair had fitted more loose. I was ready, I liked the outfit, but it just needed the final touch. Folding the end of the jeans. So I bent and you guessed it, they ripped in the very same area. I was pissed. And I honestly couldn't believe it, but as I was taking them off I noticed the fabric was different. It wasn't very thick and I joked in my mind thinking that they were the jeans I ripped last year. I took them off and checked the tag and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was them. Or at least an identical pair, same color, same brand. I was so confused and freaked out, but I tried to give it a logical explanation. So, immediately 2 things came to my mind. 1 month ago I had a closet cleanse, and I put a bunch of old clothes in a plastic bag, including all the old ripped pairs of jeans I hadn't gotten rid of yet. So I checked the bag. Everything was there except this pair of jeans. I got a cold sensation through all of my body, but there was another option left. Sometimes me and my mom exchanged clothes, so it was possible that for some weird reason, she had the exact same pair and gave it to me and I didn't remember. Which I don't think I would forget something like this, considering I liked them a lot. Or she put them in my closet someday, which would also have been a weird occasion, as she never really sneaks into my closet and always asks if I want the clothes. I called my mom, as she wasn't home, told her what happened, and she told me she remembers about the ripped jeans, but can't recall well how they looked. She says she doesn't remember giving me any pair, but that she needed to see them to confirm. My mom just arrived, I took the pants, asked again if they were hers, to which she replied they aren't, and she recognized them as my jeans. We even noticed they are also cut at the end. Something I did with those jeans, as they were too long for me, and she got mad when I did that. We can't understand what happened, and I'm honestly so mindfucked right now. The new jeans are nowhere to be found. I have looked for them all over the closet, the drawers, the laundry, I moved furniture, nothing. They just seem to have vanished and been replaced by these other jeans. I'm losing my mind. I would really appreciate any thoughts, opinions, or possible explanations. 4. I've been reading posts here, reading about multiverse theories, time travel, doppelgangers, etc. Still, I wasn't prepared for what happened today. It started when I headed to the grocery store with my toddler in tow. Halfway there, a major thunderstorm kicked up. I mean crazy lightning, flash flooding in matters of minutes. Drivers doing 15 miles per hour on the interstate with their hazards flashing, extremely limited visibility, the whole nine. So I decided to skip Kroger and just hit up the dollar store for frozen pizzas. I got off on the exit and doubled back toward my neighborhood. By the time I reached the store, the storm had died down considerably, just a light drizzle and that funny tint to the light after a storm. So I start to pull into the parking lot, which is deserted. I see an older man in blue work overalls, a beard and glasses walking out of the store and around the side of the building, right in front of my car. He wasn't carrying any bags, and I remember thinking he looked like a pleasant person. I'm always drawn to blue-collar guys with beards. I slow down to give him time to walk past the parking space nearest the front door, but as he walked to my left, he disappeared. I lost sight of him as he passed by my driver's side mirror. He'd been maybe 20 feet away, then he was gone. I crane my neck back to try and find him. Nothing. I jump out of my car, look all around the empty and rather large parking lot. Nothing. There are no doors in that side of the building, and there's no possible way he had time to go around back. Where I'm sure there's a back door, but I haven't actually seen. Or circle the building. Weird. Anyway, I hustle to get my toddler out of the car and into the store, all the while looking for the bearded man. Then, as we're walking into the store, he's there. Walking out as we're walking in, this time with a bag in hand. He smiled and nodded, which isn't unusual in my neck of the woods. If he turned around in the parking lot and headed back toward the front door of the store, there's no way I would have missed him. I drive a minivan, so the windshield is massive, and there would have been nothing obstructing my vision. Like I said, the rain was a mere drizzle by this point, and it was only around 6 p.m. So still very much daytime. What in the world? So a quick question, once you notice one or two odd things happening, do you notice them more frequently? Does the universe know certain people are more open to this kind of thing? Or is it that only certain people are able to experience glitches or whatever you want to call them? 5. Okay, so here goes nothing. This is a story I've told many times, and there have been many theories about what the fuck this could have been, but I never got an explanation. I was sitting in geography class, the Netherlands, and was just paying attention to the fun class of my awesome teacher. There was one person sitting next to me and 2 other classmates in front of us, all just listening to the teacher, and about 28 other kids in the room scattered around. The teacher asked me a geography question, and I started answering it. The whole fucking class is looking at me as I am talking about this question. Earth, blah blah blah, climates, blah blah blah. You know how it goes. Now here comes the weird shit. The girl in front of me who was looking at me as I'm talking. Something happened in the empty space between us, at about eye height. Now this is very hard to describe, and I will try to do my best. Out of nothing, this bright white flash, about 10 centimeters in diameter, appears. It makes this weird grinding noise, kind of like when you rub 2 pieces of styrofoam together. It looked nothing like electricity or anything, but it was so strange. The only way I can explain it is that it kind of looked like that scene in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, where Hermione fixes Harry's glasses. Out of her wand comes this thing that kind of looked like it, but smaller. At this point, I was like, what the fuck, am I having a stroke? Now this thing, it happened for everyone to see, right in front of my face. It left behind some smoke too. It moved like it was morphing, if you can understand that. So I fucking froze and asked, WTF, did you guys see that? And the people around me, including my teacher, were like, what the fuck was that? Everyone in close vicinity saw it. A very sweet smell emerging from the flash stayed there for weeks after. Always felt strange after that. We were kind of baffled and shrugged it off afterwards. I couldn't sleep that night thinking about what it was, especially because so many other people witnessed it. Does anyone know what this could have been? Thank you very much in advance. I'd be happy to answer any questions to clarify stuff. Never did anything else like this happen again. Hey everyone, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to 5 True Glitch in the Matrix Stories, Episode 70. And thank you very much to everyone who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Okay, I want to give a little bit of a plug, if I can find the link where I saved it, to Victor Norbert, who's actually the author of the last story there. Victor is a mentalist. Presumably he's working in the Netherlands? Yeah, that's right. So I'll include a link to his website in the description next to his story. If you want to go check it out, perhaps you might have need of his services if you happen to be in his neck of the woods. Okay, and with that, I'm off to record some paranormal stories for Friday, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.